was a little boy, I had this father figure in my life. My dad, my dad had periods where he was in my life, but he'd be out my life. And then, sometimes we lived with them, sometimes we didn't live with them. Um, and so here and there, I had these mentors, these big brothers, these givers that would randomly, come into my life circle, and I would get different things from them. So none of them were there like all the time, like consistently, but I was able to compile um, a father figure, a positive male model, right? Kind of pulling it together, or as it was as healthy and as positive as I could, being a kid, being a child, being 12, trying to make it work, right? One of those guys gave me a love for words. And what I mean by that is that he had this way of breaking down words in a way that made the most sense and was so simple, but it was quirky, right? Let me give you an example. The one that stands out for me the most that I always think about was his word for the way he explained the word compassion. And he said, compassion is a very unique word. So my middle name is Christopher. You see Rodney C. Burris, Rodney C. Burris. The C stands for Christopher. He calls me Chris. He's like, Chris, compassion is a really unique word. I was like, why you say that? He said, because compassion actually has two root words. I'm like, two root words? I ain't never heard about something having two root words. Like the whole idea behind a root word is that it gets down to the point, like the singular thing that's in there, right? He said, compassion has two root words. I said, what you mean? He said, first of all, in there is passion. It's like, that's emotion, that's feelings. You can't have compassion for somebody in their situation if you can't feel where they're coming from. He said, the second thing is the word compass. It's like, you mean compass? He said, no, compass. He said, the word compass means to go around something. When you compass something, you're going all the way around it. He said, in order to have real compassion for anybody in their situation, you got to be able to feel where they're coming from all of the angles that they experience it, so you can make that connection. Blew my mind, right? He used to groom me with these kind of conversations because he was like, you're going to be in a position to connect with a lot of people, and it's some things that you just got to know. That was one of 100 different lessons that he and I would have, just kind of randomly, riding in the car sometimes, going to eat somewhere sometimes. He would cut my hair over the years. And right now I kind of cut my own hair these days. Hopefully it looks okay. But he would give me these lessons, guys, and they just always kind of took me aback in how simple they were, how much sense they made, and how kind of like quirky, kind of off angle it was, right? It wasn't the traditional way of looking at things. As I've gotten older, one of the things that I found myself engaging with a lot of people around was this idea of communication and what does it really mean, and how do we really do it well, right? How do you really effectively communicate? Communication is the thing that breaks up most relationships. And if you don't have anything else, you got to have good communication. And you're in the military, you're dealing with those agencies with the badges and the shields, right? And it's like communication is key. You got to keep the lines of communication up. Well, what the heck does it mean? Because we think we know, right? Well, you got to talk. You got to tell them what you mean, and you got to. Is that communication? Sometimes, I've been, especially in academic circles, sometimes they use the most colorful, flowery language. And I don't mean colorful as in it's like pizzazz. I mean colorful, flowery, and the fact that it's these big 13-letter words that nobody else really gets. So you're really conveying your intelligence, but is that communicating? So I want to take a page out of my, I call them my pops. I want to take a page out of my pop's book. And I want to look at the word communication maybe the way he would. You ready? All right, let's do it. Handy dandy chalk. You guys remember Blue's Clues back in the day? Handy dandy notebook, right? Okay, now, I'm gonna write this on the board. Hopefully you can read my chicken scratch. You ready? C. Oh my goodness, it's backwards. O M M U N I C A T I O N. Now I'm looking at this word and I'm hoping that it's not backwards on the screen for you guys. Give me 1 second and let me check. Okay, I just clicked some buttons around and I can't tell whether or not if the video is backwards for you guys. I can't tell. So let me just see here. Based on what I think you should be able to see, this spells the word communication. Okay, now, communication has a root word, all words do, right? There's a core word that makes up the word communication. That word is common, right? The word common or commune, which means to share together, to hold the same thing alike with each other, right? It's common, communal, right? A community. But we can break the word common down even further. And if we break the word common down even further, the first part of that CO means with or together, right? So the co, think about it like this. Years ago, schools were single gender, right? It was an all boys school. A lot of times, years and years, hundreds of years ago, they didn't even let girls go to school, right? When they finally started not only allowing girls to gain education, but when they started letting boys and girls go to school together, those students were known as co-eds, together with, right? If I'm employed and you also work at my job, you and I are co-workers, right? If I'm working on a project and you help me work on this project, you and I are co-operating, okay? So the co is with or together, all right? Now, I'm gonna jump all the way back over here. This part of the word, Asian always refers to a process of, right? So a process of inspiring people is inspiration or motivation, getting them motivated, getting them going by some process. The process of movement is transportation. The Asian part is the process of. Well, there's one more part of this word, and it's the core part of the word. See this? U N I. What does uni mean? Well, let's think about some words that got uni in it, right? University, unity, unitard, which is what I'm wearing underneath. What else? Uniform, union. What is unicycle? How many wheels do a unicycle have? So if we look at the word, it tells us in and of itself that communication only happens when at the end of some process, you and I are together around one idea, one message, one thought. Communication only happens when you and I understand the same idea. Use big words to do it, use small words to do it. Your process could be texting, your process could be a song. Decades ago, there's a group called the Osley Brothers, and they had a song called Living for the Love of You, right? And in that song, they said, I might as well sign my name to a card because the card probably could say it better than I can. He's just trying to tell his lady, I'm living for your love. And all that I'm giving is for your love. And he tried to say it with verse after verse after verse. And at the end of the song, I might as well just sign my name to a card to say it better, because it seems I've done just about all that I can do. Right? So your process might be an endearing card. If we was little kids, it might be, do you like me? Check, yes or no. Right? Of course, we want them to say yes. That's the whole point of us sending the card, right? That's the one idea that we want, is for them to agree to be together with us in this idea that you like me and I like you. But our process to get there is not just walking up to her and asking her. That's too much, right? Get rejected like that. We got to send a card. So whatever the process is, if you and I share our understanding around one idea, we've communicated. If we don't share our understanding, if we're not together in our understanding of one idea, then we didn't communicate. And I keep stressing the word understanding. Communication happens when we understand the same idea, because you can understand the same idea and not agree on it. Communication doesn't necessarily mean we agree. It just means that we effectively understand this one thing. Does that make sense? So a lot of times we feel like we didn't effectively communicate because you don't see it how I see it. You don't agree with me. They don't have to. They don't have to. They don't got to see it how we see it in order for communication to effectively happen. They just need to be on the same page in their understanding of the one thing. There's a couple more things I want to point out about this that this word tells us, right? If we're trying to effectively communicate, it's probably helpful that we don't try to make 3, 4, 5 points to win the argument. Oh yeah? Well, that's fine, because I never liked your mama or you anyway, and your feet stink. And I never liked how you cooked lasagna. Well, what's the one thing that you're trying to get across in this moment that you want me to understand? That you hate my guts? Because that, more than anything, is what's coming through right now, based on your process. No, I just really wanted us to spend more time on Thursdays because, Thursday's a special day and you're always busy. And I thought that's what we said we were going to do. Well, let's live in that idea and let whatever process we use funnel us towards a singular point. Because if I'm going to use this opportunity to talk about the taxes and the bills and your best friend who's always over here who I don't like, and I really don't like how messy you always have the car, and also I think your feet stink. That's a lot of points you're trying to make. I don't think it's clear to me that you're trying to tell me that you just want to spend more time with me on Thursday. That's getting lost in the sauce for me. We're having a miscommunication. I'm understanding that you just want to have an argument, that you just want to break up, that you just need some time off. And what you really mean is Thursdays. Can we do more of them? We can't control how they think, but we can control our portion in the process. And controlling our portion in the process can help us get together around a singular idea. The last thing I want to bring up about this, if we look at this word and we think about it, one of the best ways to make sure the one thing that I'm trying to get across sinks in, one of the best ways that I can help you understand, help us share understanding around this one thing, is if I do this. If I say it and I say it and I repeat it and I repeat it and I repeat it and I repeat it, the more times I repeat this one idea, the better my chances are in helping make sure that you understand the one thing I'm trying to convey, because I'm bringing it up all the time. This is my main idea, right? If this was school, what's your main idea? That's the one thing that you're trying to, everything else is just supporting material. Isn't that what they teach us? That's supporting material. But there's one thing above all that I hope you get out of this. That's the main idea. If this was a song, the main idea that gets repeated over and over again is in the chorus. Some people call it the hook, because I gotcha. I'm gonna make it catchy enough. I'm gonna make it sing-songy enough that it's the thing that sticks. It's the refrain. It's the thing that we go back to. Why do they call it a refrain? Re again, re again, re again. It's a refrain. I'm coming back to it. It's the chorus. It's the hook that I'm trying to use to catch to make sure that you understand my main idea. So if we reapproach communication around the auspices that I'm really just trying to make sure that you understand with me, you understand like how I understand this one thing, we can get better at how we approach our process, right? But it all starts with understanding this. This is the last thing. This means that we have to know what's the one thing that we're trying to get across. If we got a bunch of swirling feelings and swirling emotions that tie into the next thing, that tie into the next thing, that tie into the next thing, and that's bad because of this and that, and that's why, and it feels like that, and everything is the problem. I heard a wise man say this. He said, if everything is wrong with you, then that means you don't really know what's wrong with you. Ooh. If somebody asks you how you feel, and you got 30 emotions around multiple different things, you haven't done the self-work, the homework, our school thing, right? You haven't done the homework to figure out how you really feel. If someone were to ask you, what do you want to eat? You hungry? Yeah, I can eat. I'm hungry. Yeah. What do you want to eat? Where you want to go? I don't know. Are you hungry? Did you say you was hungry? Yeah, man, I'm starving. I haven't eaten it's been forever. What do you want to eat then? I don't know. I mean, you want shrimp? No, I don't really. Want to get cheesesteaks? Nah, cheesesteaks. Want to go get some pasta, some lasagna, or something? Because I don't want to just get some tacos. Because not taco. Okay. We could do this all day. Clearly, you don't want any of that stuff. What do you want? If your answer is still, I don't know, you shouldn't be putting that on me to figure out. That's called self-work. We have to know the one thing that we want understood about us. If we're trying to create a togetherness. See, this part right here, a fancy word for this is relationship. With my cousin, with my mama, with my sister, with my BFF, with my bestie, with my co-worker, with my manager, with my boo thing, my romantic love, my spouse, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, fiance. If I really want to sustain a sense of togetherness with them, then I need to do the self-work to know what's the one thing in this moment that I'm trying to get across. That's the foundation of communication. It is the one thing in the middle of it all, literally. Right? So, communication, in a nutshell, is when we share understanding about one thing at the end of some process. And looking at this word like this was something that I learned when I was a boy by a father figure in my life. So shout out to him, much love to him, to all of the people that's been givers, helpers, lovers, mentors, significant in your life. And I mean love in any sense of that word, right? For me, it was a fatherly type love. For you, it might be the love of like a best friend. For some of us, it might be the love of a romantic, whatever. Whoever has been placed in your life to help you see things that you otherwise may have missed, those are important people. Those are special people. And one of them in my life gave me the idea that I can look at words and the word itself will tell me what it means. And with that, I share with you.